This is the OTP presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. When it's game day for your health coverage, trust Farm Bureau Health Plans to draw up a winning play for you. They've been backing Tennesseans for nearly 80 years. It's always good to have Brian Callahan join us at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. So let's start off with some specific questions about Sunday's game with the Vikings. Amy, take it away.
Coach Callahan, you wanted to see Will Levis make improvement, make progress from the Chargers game to the Vikings game. As the guy who runs this team's offense, Brian Callahan, did you see that progress that you were looking for?
I did. I thought it was a step in the right direction from the week before, and that's what I was hoping to see. Really difficult defense to play against schematically. A lot of different things they do that are challenging for the quarterback, a lot of answers you have to have, and I thought Will executed that plan really well and made some high-level throws in the process. I thought it was a really strong step in his progression, and I was really pleased with it. What
were some things you liked and some things you didn't like about the way the secondary played against Minnesota?
I thought they did a really nice job against a very talented group of receivers between Hawkinson and Addison, and then obviously Justin Jefferson's arguably the best player at the position. And I thought Jarvis battled; he was in position. It's got a couple of flags in the back end, a little grabby at the top of routes that we'd like to get eliminated. But man, I thought they did a pretty dang good job of keeping that offense in check and making some plays on the ball and in some one-on-one coverage situations. They didn't get going anything crazy in that receiver room, which is a good room. And I do think Darryl Baker's done a really nice job stepping in for us. I mean, just to come in at the end of training camp and have the impact he's had and played as much as he's played it's been pretty good to see him perform at the level he's performed at.
Now, you mentioned Justin Jefferson. If I had told you before the game that Justin Jefferson would be targeted 8 times and that he would make 6 catches for 81 yards, would you have taken that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a. I think I might have said it on the show last week that he's going to have his production. He's going to have 8 to 10 catches and probably somewhere between 100+ yards. I mean, that's pretty much every game he has, and so that we'll take that. If somebody said, "Here, would you sign up for this against Justin?" I said, "Absolutely, I would sign up for that," and that's a testament to those guys in the secondary and the way they played.
Going back through the game box, the Titans had 21 of their 55 offensive snaps in the first quarter. 11 of your 19 rushing plays came in the first quarter. So while Minnesota has a good run defense, I just wondered, did the flow of the game dictate more about going away from the running game than even Minnesota's run defense did?
It did at a certain point. One of the things we didn't have a great day on the ground, and that is, I think, statistically the number 1 rushing defense in football. And it's that way for a reason. They're really hard to pin down on their front structure. They play every front you can play. They play base people into your 11 personnel. They move, they pressure, they stunt, they move. It's just a really hard team to run the ball against. And we had some difficulty in the first part of the game, and it wasn't going great. And I just felt like the best chance was for some of our passing game to help us get into some more manageable spots. So yeah, it was a combination of both. I just felt like we were doing a decent job passing the ball, and then we were having a hard time running it, and hard to kind of stick with it when we weren't having the success. Usually you have some success somewhere that allows you to sort of stick with it, and we didn't have a lot of it. And then the game, we were down some points in the second half that we were trying to climb out of.
When Jack Gibbons was injured, Jerome Baker stepped in, and he made 8 tackles against the Vikings. How do you think Baker played?
I thought he did a nice job. You can tell he's played a lot of football, played a lot of snaps at linebacker over his career so far, and that showed up, just to be able to step in that role and settle it down and play with some consistency and make sure that we didn't have any major glaring issues or errors, and I thought he did a really nice job. And on top of that, that's a very communicative spot on the defense, and for him to step in and do that was impressive, and I thought he played well.
So does he become the green dot and he's calling the defense?
We'll see how that shakes out this week. Kenneth's been doing quite a bit of it, and Jack's done some too, so they've all done it, but I think that we'll see how that shakes out. I don't have a definitive answer at this point.
Your defensive front in particular got after Sam Darnold. Jeffrey Simmons, 6 pressures. Tavondre Sweat, 5 pressures. Arden Key, 4 pressures. You had 4 other guys with a pressure. I mean, it was real. It wasn't just statistical. It was real. But you only came away with 2 sacks. So I wonder, is there a coaching point that you go back to with the defensive linemen about making the pressures turn into sacks better?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is just the discipline in the rush lanes. You know, we had some opportunities to get him down. Don't get him down, but then he gets out and makes plays off schedule and runs and throws a couple balls on the field. And that's, you know, usually when you're playing guys that can move around, there just has to be more detail and the discipline to the rush lanes of being where you're supposed to be in conjunction with the rush or the pressure or whatever we have going on that's trying to get to the quarterback, and can do a better job of that, of not letting him get out, you know, not losing a gap, and that way he has an escape lane as opposed to kind of condensing and crushing the pocket on him where there's not really anywhere to go. And we did that a few times and got him down, but we had some opportunities, I think, to do that more often and have more production on a quarterback.
Clearly you turned up your pass rush from the week before, though.
No doubt. It was and it helped that those guys inside, that was a good matchup for us. We felt like that was a matchup we should win with consistency both on the ground and in the pass rush game, and both Jeff and Sweat really played a nice game inside.
Hey Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up.
Home is at the forefront of all that we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans.
We continue with Titans head coach Brian Callahan. As you begin the week, do you start off your preparation with a thought towards what you'll do at right tackle for the Houston game?
Leroy was hurt, so that's why he was out. He didn't practice all week, and it's the same guys, and we got to find guys that we can find some consistency with. So, it'll be the same group, and hopefully we can improve some of the things we need to improve on technically, and then they're gonna have to go win some matchups. Obviously, playing a good front again. Feels like every week we're playing a top 10 defense right now, which is accurate. We are. Houston's really good on the defensive side, and they have been now for a year and a half, and they're sort of the engine of that team, and they got really good players over there. So we got the work cut out for us.
Did Isaiah Prince do enough on Sunday against the Vikings that he stays in that mix?
Yeah, I think he'll stay in the mix. He's got elevations from the practice squad, and I thought there was some things that it wasn't all terrible, but there was things that I thought he did well enough. Just need more of it, and he'll certainly still be in the mix.
There were some young players that showed up on multiple occasions against the Vikings. Is that one of the brightest parts of that game against the Vikings?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that keeps me why I believe so much in the growth that's occurring, even though we don't have wins to tangibly show for it. But we got a lot of players that have really done some nice things and are really getting better every time we go out there, between Jarvis Brownlee and J.C. Latham and Skoronski, and even you look at God, I'm blanking on right now. The way that Jack was playing, Bryce Oliver steps in the last 2 weeks, has made some catches, and he caught that route, and he hadn't repped it at all during the week because that was sort of Calvin's spot. It was third down, and Bryce hadn't played a lot on third down yet, and goes in and makes a great grab and a big first down. So there's a lot of really good things happening in the development of our young players, in their performances kind of week by week, and certainly would like to see more of it faster in some regards, but I'm really happy with where some of those guys are and how much they've come along.
We know turnover ratio is a key statistic in the NFL, and it's been a problem for the Titans so far in 2024. A lesser-known stat is sack ratio, the number of times you sack the opposing quarterback less how many times your quarterback gets sacked. Titans right now are minus 13 in that. If that ratio improves down the stretch, would that show the type of overall team improvement that you need to see for this team to have more winning efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it probably goes into an even broader bucket of negative plays. We've had too many negative plays, and sacks are a part of that. And then right now I think we're second to last in the league on offense and false starts and offensive holdings as a combined stat, which is not good. I mean, those are backwards plays. They're negative. And the less negative plays we have, the more opportunities we give ourselves a chance to not lose the game, if that makes sense. And that's where you start. You have to, when you're in the position we're in, we have to find ways to not lose the game in order to give ourselves a chance to win it. And right now we're doing too many things that are losing us the game, and that's a part of it. We've certainly improved our turnover margin over the last couple of weeks. I think the last 3 weeks we've been kind of in the 0 or plus category, which is a huge improvement from the negative category we lived in for the first part of the season. So that's improved. And then I think that the sack production and the sack avoidance are things that are we keep the turnover margin where it's at, and that sack avoidance and sacking of the other opponent quarterback as we bring that up. Yeah. We're going to give our chance more negative plays for the opposing team and less for us will give us a better chance to win a game.
Okay, so Amy's mad at me because I'm going numbers here.
I know, but keep doing the
numbers.
But
I've got an offensive guy here, so I have
to ask.
I like
numbers.
There are people who like them, even if I don't.
Okay, so the Titans are 50%, 6 out of 12 on 3rd and 1s this year, converting 3rd down and 1. You're 50% as well, converting 3rd and 4 or less. For you as the offensive mind, what do those numbers need to be if you're being more successful on offense? What's a fair measure in terms of a percentage of conversions on convertible 3rd downs?
Yeah, 3rd and 1, you'd love to be, 80%.
Right.
If that would be the better place to be, certainly. 50%'s going to put you – 50% on 3rd down is going to put you at the top of the league. I mean, I think most teams, right, the top team in the league right now is probably 40-something percent, 45, 48. I mean, that's usually what –
Well, you had a Bengals offense that was a real pain in that area. It was 45, 46.
And 40. So I think that's probably the best way to look at it is if you're converting half of your 3rd downs in a game, you're probably moving the ball pretty well. And that's just historically what it is. Now, certainly, I'd love to be 70%. That's not realistic.
Right.
That's a really hard down to win on. And then you add in, you'd love to be over 50% in that 2 to 5.
Sure.
But it's, you're hovering around 50, you're doing okay in that spot.
All right, I have a couple numbers.
Oh, look at you.
Just a few, though.
Hypocrite.
No, these are easier numbers than what math you were just spewing at me. The Titans have 10 offensive plays of 30 yards or more. Mm-hmm. 3 of those came against the Vikings. 3 more came against Detroit. So that means that the other 4 are spread across 8 games. Mm-hmm. What do you need to do to get more of those big plays in a single game?
Regular.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had 8 explosives in this last game, and that's generally, and that's happened, I think maybe the other game, I think Detroit, we had maybe 8. But that's generally sort of a mark for most offenses. Like you get 8 explosive plays in a game, you're probably moving the ball at a pretty good rate, and you have a chance to win. Not to say that's like you get 8 explosives, you win the game. That's not necessarily how it works, but you're in a pretty good spot. And so I think we're doing a pretty good job of it as of late. We're finding a little more comfort level. I think Will's finding some more confidence in it. I think Calvin's playing better in some of the stuff down the field we're asking him to do. And so we're making improvements. It's been better. And I think as long as we can kind of continue on that trajectory of a couple of those big plays a game, it's going to help us. And like I said, if we can find those 8-ish explosives per game, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot.
Is it crazy to think that once Will has hit a couple of the long passes and he hit the 41-yarder at Los Angeles, he hit the 98-yarder, he had a 51-yarder that didn't count, but it was still a beautiful play and a great throw. Do you almost get like a three-point shooter who gains confidence and feels like he's going to knock it down every time if you're a quarterback that way?
Yeah, there's a confidence element to it, and letting the ball go on time, knowing that you see the right look for the coverage for it. That's what was so cool about the long play is that, Will saw exactly what was happening. He knew that the ball was going to go there. He threw it on time. He threw it accurately, threw it with some conviction. That's half the battle sometimes on some of the balls down the field is you have to throw it with the conviction that it's going to hit, and then he did a good job of that. Same thing with the ball to Calvin that got called back. That was still the same idea, just really sure about what he saw and what it looked like and where he put the ball. It was just really well done. And any time that you hit one or two of those, you start to feel it a little bit. Your confidence grows, your aggressiveness to take those grows, and then it gives me confidence to keep calling them. And again, sometimes we call those plays and then we don't get the structure, we don't get the deep ones not open, and we find the next option. But those things have been growing. They've been more productive as the weeks have gone on.
Hey, Titans fans, SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season.
Whether you're buying or selling football tickets, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Tennessee Titans.
The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected.
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek. Made a rookie mistake this football season? Maybe you should have had a Snickers.
Because now you can enter for the chance to turn those rookie mistakes into prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59.
Visit snickers.com/rookie mistakes for details.
Okay, random one to end.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to read this.
Oh, man.
Are you surprised you've only thrown 2 challenge flags this year and you haven't thrown one since Buffalo?
No, they're not really as commonplace as you might think, especially now with the replay assist does a lot more than it used to. So there's a little bit of we don't have to throw them as much because they sort of fix the easy ones pretty quickly. But I didn't really think about it as, but there hasn't been a lot of opportunities to challenge a whole lot of plays at this point. I don't know if that's good or bad. I just haven't had too many of them. And I think we're smart about when and where we challenge too. We don't just, kind of just throw the flag for the fun of it.
After being a head coach for 10 games, do you think more plays should be challengeable?
If you're asking my very own personal opinion,
absolutely.
Yes.
It's your show.
I would be. I'm all for the, what Bill Belichick has proposed before is just being able to replay everything. I don't see why not. I just think there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that if, especially now with the, with what all this means now and the scrutiny of it all. It's just why not just get it right? Why do we have to worry about, perception or anything other than just making sure the call on the field is the best, most correct call? I can't sit here and tell you I have a presentation or how it should all look. I'll
help you.
Yeah. I just think that there's a time and a place for being able to, especially critical calls, things that affect outcomes of games is, let's just make sure they're right. And however that looks, whether it's replay assist or it's challengeable, whatever that looks like, I think would, hopefully limit the amount of times we have to sit on a Monday and discuss officiating. And I think that's what everybody wants, and I'm all for whatever makes their job easier and the product cleaner.
You would have thrown more than 2 challenge flags if that were the case.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes, I do. You would have thrown more than 2 yesterday.
Probably so.
Brian Callahan, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.